Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And thank you so much for all the subscribers that helped me and helped us go well over the 1,000 subscriber mark. So we did a nice celebration a week ago with that. So thank you so much. And then even a bigger shout out to my Patreons that help support this channel financially. And the newest Patreon is, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, Ali Merle or Ali Moral. Thank you very much for becoming a new Patreon. And if anyone else would like to become a Patreon, you can find the link in the description below. And remember, folks, it's just whiskey. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun. Today is my whiskey of the year. Hopefully and possibly your whiskey of the year as well. But the reason I chose it is because it was my whiskey of the year that I would like to share with you. What I do is I pick two whiskeys of the year. I pick a peated and a non-peated. So we're going to start off with the non-peated whiskey of the year. It very well could have and should have been the Kilkerran 12-year-old. This is the 2022, which I recently reviewed. I absolutely love this. But in good conscience, I can't really pick it as a whiskey of the year because it's really not available. It's so hard. I mean, I just happened to see one of these bottles on the shelf, and I was shocked, and I grabbed it, and it's really, I really enjoy it a lot. But for those reasons, it's just really not available. So for those reasons, I'm going to have to disqualify it. Which leaves the obvious choice, no surprise to anybody. My whiskey of the year is Craigellachie 13-year-old. 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and no caramel color added. It does say on the carton, non-chill filtered, but there is no mention of color. But if you go to their website, in plain sight, if you click on Craigellachie 13 or Craigellachie 17 or Craigellachie 23, it says no caramel color added, non-chill filtered. Okay, so Craigellachie 13 is a Speyside, and I know people don't like to hear, Springbank substitutes, but apples and oranges, right? Elephants and donkeys. It's kind of close to something a little dirty and rugged, with a little bit of sherry and predominantly bourbon in there. You're going to get an idea of what a Springbank might offer. Okay. So I chose my words carefully there. The reason why I chose Craigellachie 13 is it's damn good. It's an integrity malt. And the price, I can get this in my area for as low as $50. I know some stores and a lot of other areas might be as high as $60 to $65, maybe even $70. But this is readily available to me for $50. But I have seen it in my area as well for $60 to $65. It's really good, and I've talked about it quite a bit this year. And on their website, I'm going to read how they describe the maturation of the Craigellachie 13. They say it's initially matured in a mixture of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry. Then 50% of the, quote, blend, okay, is then finished in first fill ex-sherry casks, and the rest and first fill ex bourbon. Okay, so I'm guessing it's mostly ex bourbon, and I'm just gonna guess, like a 70-30, 70 ex bourbon, 30 sherry, which is similar to Springbank, but it could be 60-40. I don't really know, but that's how they describe it on there. So you're getting some ex sherry, and it's finished in some first fill sherry and first fill ex bourbon. So you cannot go wrong with the Craigellachie 13. That is not what's in this glass. Okay, what's in this glass is my peated whiskey of the year. Okay, so we are going to clear the deck. All right, and before I get into it, I'm just going to talk a little bit. And if your eyes are really good, there's a hint lying on the table. You can probably figure out where I'm going with this. Okay, as far as peated, my favorite peated whiskey of the year, right? Every year it could easily be, and probably should be, Ledaig 10. Okay, I voted that with my whiskey of the year last year, and then shortly thereafter, Ralphie voted it his whiskey of the year as well. But I did my review first. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Another possible pick for peated whiskey of the year was the Port Charlotte 10-year-old, which I'm going to just guess, and maybe I shouldn't even do this, right? But I'm going to take a guess that it's going to be whiskey. It's going to be Ralphie's pick for whiskey of the year. I'm just taking a guess here. Port Charlotte 10 is my guess. So I didn't pick the Port Charlotte 10 because I don't want to step on Ralphie's toes 2 years in a row, folks. All right. The reason why I did not pick Port Charlotte 10 is, from my experience with the Port Charlotte 10, it's a great dram, but I recommend drinking it fresh. Drink it within the first few weeks, or maybe after a couple of months. What I found after a few months, even with the bottle level close to a halfway, maybe a third of the way full, I found that the peat becomes a bit muddled, and a lot of those sparkling nuances have dissipated. Okay, which makes sense to me, because the longer a peated Scotch is held and matured in casks, generally speaking, the longer it goes for maturity, the peat kind of dissipates a little bit. And I found that with the Port Charlotte 10, out of the gate, for the first few weeks, first couple of months, it is really sparkly, and it's a masterpiece, really. But then I found over just a few months, it becomes a bit muddled. Okay, that's my experience. That's also been my experience with Ardbeg. Like, you take an Ardbeg 10 even. The first few weeks, first couple of months, it is what it is. But then over time, when the bottle gets lower, I find that those flavors become a little bit muddled, and it loses some of its complexity and nuance and freshness from my take. And also, too, quite a while back, Ardbeg Scorch, when I did the bottle opening, the neck pour of that, I thought the Ardbeg Scorch was a masterpiece. It blew my mind. But that was just a neck pour. Every other pour of the Scorch after that, as the bottle went down, became less and less impressive and less enjoyable. Okay, I have not found that to be the case with Ledaig 10. Ledaig 10, it can go for months and months and over a year, and still keep a lot of its complexity intact. So that's what Lecheg 10 too. That the peat is more integrate. I was integrated, whereas Port Charlotte 10 or an Ardbeg, it is a peat bomb. It's predominantly peat, and some of the nuances of that I find lessen over time. So I prefer a more integrated peat like a Lecheg 10, or what I'm going to tell you is my pick for peated Scotch whiskey of the year, and you're probably going to be surprised, but it's Talisker 10. Okay, and I know, right? I'll just disclaimer. I know people are like, they don't like Diageo, but Diageo owns what, 2/3 or 3/4 of all Scotch distilleries. And we're not going to get into that. But the Talisker 10, I find that I replace this bottle more often than any other bottle, whether it's peated or not. Probably because of the price. Now, Talisker 10 is not an integrity malt. Talisker 10 is probably chill filtered, and it very likely has caramel color added to it. But it does come very close to 46%. Okay, the Taliskers are 45.8% ABV, and they describe it as ruggedly maritime, sweet smoke, peat, and pepper. And I agree with those that description that they go by. I know there's some backlash about Talisker. I think in the UK they've noticed a dramatic price increase for the Talisker 18. I've heard people talk about in the UK that it's at 175 euros or pounds over there. That price increase, I have not seen it in the States as of yet, not anywhere close. The Talisker 18, I can readily buy that for between 130 and 150 American. If that is the case, where Talisker 18 doubled their price, I haven't really seen that here in the States. Maybe it's previews of coming attractions. However, even if it did go up that high, and it's going to go up, some other examples that I don't hear people complaining about, Bunnahabhain 18 has been in the United States. That's $170 to $180. The Bunnahabhain 18, okay, and good luck finding that. It's not easy to find. Springbank 18 retails probably for close to $300 or even over $300 now. Macallan 18, $375 and up. And like I said, Talisker 18, $130 to $150, still available in the States. Now, enough about that. The Talisker 10, okay, I can find this for $45 to $50 in my area. I know other areas in the country is a little bit more, but the highest I've seen Talisker 10 in my area is $60. So for that price, $45 to $50, I just continually buy it because it's a no-brainer for me. I really enjoy it, number one, but the price really makes it that much easier to swallow. Comparatively, the Lecheg 10, okay, that price now, you're not going to find that. For a few years ago, I could find it for $50, but now Lecheg 10 is $65 to $70, and maybe even a little bit higher than that. So Lecheg 10 is a integrity malt. Lecheg 10 is what is it, 46 or is it 46.3? I should know that. And it's non-chill filtered and no color added onto that. But anyway, let's focus on the Talisker 10. I've kind of give all my my disclaimers. And if you were paying attention, when I did one of my shows, I talked about these Diageo liquor-filled chocolates, and one of them is Talisker 10. And I ate one on camera a couple of weeks ago, and it was tough to pick up the Talisker 10 in it because I had just drank a lot of Talisker. But I ate one of these again separately, and you can taste the Talisker spirit in here. There is a decent amount of these chocolates are fantastic. It has the Singleton 12, Dalwhinnie 15, the Oban 14, Talisker 10, and the Lagavulin 16. This gift package retails for like $17 or $18, and there's a dozen 10 chocolates. Yeah. Anyway, we're here to talk about Talisker 10. I reviewed this and compared this to Lechaig 10, but I just really enjoy it, and for the price, you can't go wrong. And even with its flaws, I just continually replace this bottle. So, my peated whiskey of the year is Talisker 10, and my whiskey of the year non-peated is Craigellachie 13. That's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon with a link in the description below. And remember, folks, it's just whiskey. So hats off to you all. Happy holidays, and take care, folks.